So I think I'm ready to get started if you are. So you can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you are at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way. And if you would like to listen in a still position, just allow yourself to take all the time that you need to fidget and adjust and stretch and move in whatever ways your body wants to move. As you do your best to not think about the movements at all, not worry about what anything looks like, but just coming fully into your sense of feeling and following those yummy sensations that you might feel when you reach the arms overhead or do side body bends, torso twists, neck rolls, anything at all that feels good in your body. Or just becoming curious about how your body is feeling and becoming curious about what certain movements feel like. Becoming curious about your range of motion right now in your shoulders and neck, your wrists and fingers. Just checking in physically with where you're at right now. And there is zero rush whatsoever. You can keep moving throughout this practice anytime you feel the need to. But at any point, if you haven't already and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. As you now take a moment to mark your arrival into your practice today, into your body today, with a full, intentional cleansing breath. Calling in this fresh new air into the body as you watch yourself fill up to every corner and edge of you. As you just hold that for a moment once you're full, to experience this sense of fullness. And without straining, as you need to, slowly letting it all go. As you exhale bit by bit, and you gently pull the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to really push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment here to now experience this sense of emptiness. And allowing your next breath to come to you as it's needed. And you can continue to breathe just like this for as long as it feels good and helpful to you. And as your body inhales, really focusing on expanding your ribs, your back, the back side of your body, and just getting your lungs full of air. And as you hold that, really experiencing what that feels like to be full of air. And as you exhale, emptying every last bit, and then really experiencing what that feels like to be empty. And you can continue to breathe in this exaggerated way for as long as it feels good and helpful to you. And it's not important what the actual length of your inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side are. All that matters is that each part is exaggerated, whatever that means for you right now. So when the body would naturally stop inhaling, just seeing if you can expand your belly or your back a little bit more to take in one more moment's worth of air. And when you would naturally roll over to your exhale, just seeing if you can hold off on that for one extra moment before exhaling and fully, deeply emptying. And again, hanging out there for one extra moment as we consciously, intentionally slow down the 4 parts of the breath. Therefore, communicating to our nervous system that right now is a time to slow down, to let go, and to relax. And there is no rush whatsoever. You can continue to breathe in this slow and exaggerated way for as long as it feels good and helpful to you. But at any point, if you haven't already, you may release this guidance over your breath altogether and allow yourself to step back and up in the mind as you step into the role of the observer or the witness. As you step into that perspective where you are now simply witnessing the fact that your body is breathing rather than having any direct impact over the rhythm or depth of the breath. But remembering how our breath is the one bodily function that can be either voluntary or automatic. And so as we let go of that voluntary guidance we just had over the breath, we can now simply observe the automatic process that is your body breathing you. Taking on that same energy that you may feel when you lay on the beach and just watch the waves as they roll up along the shoreline. Not trying to change anything about the size or speed of the waves, but simply watching as each one comes and goes. Or maybe the same way you watch wind as it blows through tree branches. Just watching. Simply witnessing yourself as the force of nature that you are. As you now start to also witness your face and any resting expression that is on the face right now. Making note for yourself of any emotions that could be communicated by this resting expression on the face. Maybe the brow is tense or the jaw. Maybe the nostrils are flared or the chin or even the ears could be holding on to some remaining tension. And just allow your awareness of this holding be all that you need to instead allow these areas to soften. Maybe even opening and closing the mouth a few times before finding that center place where your jaw just hangs into place. And your tongue releases from the roof of the mouth. And your lips rest softly on one another. And you you allow that sense of letting go in the mouth, in the tongue, in the lips, to naturally allow your chin to soften a bit further. The nostrils as well. As you allow the softness to naturally spread outward and upward, as the cheeks relax a bit deeper. The ears. The eyelids. All of the tiny muscles that exist along the lash line that will scrunch up when you squint, even feeling those soften. As the corners of your eyes just get a tiny bit wider, simply with this release. Even feeling your hairline soften back slightly as you allow your forehead to be wide and deep. As you just allow yourself to exist exactly as you already do. And you allow that sense of release and acceptance to naturally trickle down the whole scalp, down the back and sides of the neck, as the shoulders soften a little bit more, get a little bit heavier away from the ears. As the arms become even heavier, as the muscles roll off of the bones in the arms, as the hands and fingers soften as well. Feeling your pelvic floor lengthen and widen into whatever surface is supporting you. Feeling all the muscles across your abdomen soften and almost hug your organs as you let yourself be heavy and big. Feeling your glutes soften even further, along with all the muscles down the legs. Again, rolling off of the bones, releasing into the support of your skin. As both feet and all toes soften as well. As you just feel this first general wave of a full-bodied exhale, a full-bodied sense of acceptance with exactly where you are and who you are right now. Remembering that acceptance does not mean that you like it or agree with it or even want it to be this way. It simply means that you acknowledge it is this way. And so even if it's just for a moment, seeing if you can witness yourself as you are without trying to change a single thing. There will always be things that we want to change about ourselves and about the world. And we are not meant to never change or ignore the things we want to change. But we can remember that change is the only guarantee. And we do not need to shame ourselves into changing or shame ourselves into being a different or what we consider a better person. But we can instead accept exactly who we are right now, considering our history, while at the same time having goals and aspirations to grow and change and be in a different place. It is possible for you to love and accept yourself fully for who you are right now, while at the same time having goals and aspirations to be somewhere different. They are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they need each other, because we cannot change what we don't first accept. And so if there is anything present for you now, any nagging idea that keeps popping up for you of a change you'd like to make in your life, you can allow that to be there. You don't have to drown it out. You don't have to ignore it or run away from it or hide from it. But you can acknowledge that that nagging voice is here. And you can remind that voice that there will always be a period of time between when we recognize we need to make a change and when we actually have the strength, the power, and the resources to make those changes reality. And so you can allow yourself to be at whatever phase of change you are in right now, in all the different areas of your life. Remembering how we do exist simultaneously in so many different worlds, in different lives. We have the life of our health and our body, the life of our spirit, our mental, psychological life, our personal relationship life, our work life, our fun and creative outlet life. There's so many different worlds we exist in at the same time. And so if one world is particularly difficult for you right now, you have permission to lean a bit more on the worlds of your life that provide more comfort and support. For instance, if your health is tanking at the moment, but your family life is nurturing and supportive, feel free and allow yourself to soak in all of that nurture and support to help you through the more difficult parts of life that we will all experience. And so you can just take a moment right now to rescan your body, your face, your muscles. Allow or remind your body that it is safe to be soft once again. Allow your muscles to release into the support of your skin as you trust your own anatomy. Remembering that your anatomy and the way that you have been perfectly designed is in a way so that when you are in a deep state of sleep and completely not in your body, everything functions perfectly to keep you alive every moment of your life. Your body's own intelligence, your body's own natural systems were designed perfectly to keep you alive up to this point, and will continue to do so for as long as you exist in this body. And that is a pure gift that all of us have been given in this life. And we can show our appreciation for these bodies, for the gift of consciousness, existence, of life, by how we show up for it. We can do things from the deep well of love that we have access to in our own bodies and our own hearts, and share our unique expression of that love with the world around you. To have your own unique divine performance, to show your appreciation for this body and this life. Even when your body hurts, even when there is illness and disease present, even when there is so much pain and suffering present, there is also simultaneously so much joy and love and connection present. The world as a whole and our personal worlds as a whole are so complex and contain so many nuances and contradictions. And you don't have to be one way or another, but you are allowed to be the full expression of exactly who you are. There is nobody else out there who is exactly the way you are, who perceives the world the way you perceive it, who has experienced the world the way you've experienced it, and who creates things the way that you create them. You do have this unique connection and power within you, and so does everyone else. And so you can allow yourself to connect to that power, to shine your light, because it will give others permission to do the same. It will give others permission to do the same and to shine their own unique light as well, and to help out the world in the unique way they are meant to. And so you have permission to follow all of your curiosities, to spend time learning about things that fascinate you, to spend time doing things that make you feel joyful and loved and loving, because these are all things that can act as almost a compass as to where you will provide the most value for yourself and for the world that you exist in, for your community. Because joy and passion is contagious. It inspires others to spend time with the things that they are passionate about and the things that bring them joy as well. And I believe that is a very powerful and at the same time simple way that we can help heal this hurting world that we all exist in at the moment. And so you can continue to feel whatever is here for you to feel. Continue to soften your body into whatever it is you're feeling. Allow for any emotional releases that need to come, whether that be through quiet tears, loud, screaming, ugly tears, screaming into a pillow, punching a pillow, laughing, jumping around, whatever release is needed, allow for it to come from within you, release outside of you, and lighten your load. As you listen to the following words that are written by Brianna Wiest in one of her books. I'm not sure what book. It was in an Instagram post, but she writes, "Everything that is truly right for you will make you feel at ease. Everything that is truly right for you will seem so simple, so obvious, and so comfortable. Everything that is truly right for you will choose you as quickly as you choose it. Everything that is truly right for you will happen serendipitously and spontaneously. It will come to you when you expect it and when you don't, as both a surprise and a certainty. It will seem like such an obvious fact of your life, and yet entirely new all at once." I like that one. And then I would like to end once again by reading a forever favorite, Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. "You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things." So you can just take the next few moments to allow each and every word you've heard today, each and every feeling you've felt today, to settle, as if each word and feeling was a little snowflake settling down on a ski slope. And that ski slope is your mind. And in meditation, there's a saying where the mind can be seen as a ski slope, and the thoughts that we travel down more often have deeper grooves, and therefore are easier to follow down in the future. It's easier to stay in that deeper groove. And meditation, or practices such as these, feelings and words such as these, can act like snow. Just adding a layer of snow over the deep grooves of our thoughts and actions we continually repeat, and make those grooves a little less steep. Allow for you to more easily see different options, knowing that we don't have to make the same decisions over and over again. But we can add that layer of snow, that layer of awareness before we make our decisions, and see all the options and make the decision that is best for you at that time with the knowledge that you have, which is all we can do. And if you heard anything at all today that really resonated with you or struck a chord with you in some way, just trust that that feeling can sometimes come when we hear on the outside what a part of ourselves already knows to be true on the inside. And so just allow those truths to be enhanced within you, so that you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own intuition. Trusting that you already know all it is you need to know. And you have direct access to the source that all life and energy comes from, because you are life and energy. You are an extension of the source that it all comes from, simply by being alive. And so if it feels like something you would like to do today, you can let your hands come and find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you just feel this contact of your palms and fingers to one another. And feel this rhythm of your heart beating toward your thumbs as your thumbs press back toward your heart. And you can call in one final deep and full breath into the body as you let yourself fill up to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, letting go of anything at all that you're ready to let go of, as you allow the head to gently bow. As you take this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, chat box. My chat box was entirely empty that entire time. And maybe a minute ago, I just saw a bunch of things pop up. So I don't know if that was like a bug in the system. Greg says about the video on Monday. It says to me that you wrote that 5 minutes ago, but I wonder if that was something you wrote at the beginning. But the video on Monday is posted on my YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. It felt very different than my usual sessions just because I was spent most of the time reading poetry. Most of the time reading my own poetry, which felt very vulnerable, but I did it. And I liked it. So, and I spent a long time editing it together so that the words are on the screen while I'm reading it. And there's links to all the sources and the description and all of that. So check that out because I worked hard on it. So I hope you like that. But if that is something you liked, I wouldn't mind maybe like twice a month or maybe once a week. I don't know, having a session where it's like that. Where it's like, 10, 15 minutes of the guided relaxation we always do, and then just reading, and then a cool down, and then a chat. I like that format. It was different and fun for me. So if you like that, we can add that in. Greg, sorry I didn't see these ones before I started, but I hope that, something I said addressed it. Greg says, compassion for my wife who's struggling with her new job. It's so rough to struggle with a new job, especially when it's new, because you're like, how long do I invest my time here? Like, it's, and especially as the partner, I can imagine that's really a tough struggle because you're like, you don't know what it's like for her and you don't know the right things to say. But all I would say is just be there for her. Just love her. Let her know that regardless of where she ends up, if she keeps struggling with this job or if she goes searching for another job, that, you'll be there for her. A lot of times when our loved ones are going through like life changes, particularly in those struggles, all we can really do is just be that anchor, be that loving support. Like, I know things are crazy for you in your life right now and feel insane because they are, but I am your anchor and you don't have to worry about that with me. When we're together, you can vent to me. We will figure this out together and, make it to the other side. And I hope that she finds a place where she's not struggling in the future. And yeah. Morning, Rhonda. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. Morning, Dorothy and Jessica. Christine says, you don't need to incorporate this as it won't apply to a lot of people, but I am facing a lot of ableism at the moment. I'm so sorry to hear that, Christine. I think ableism applies to more people than we know. I feel like ableism is one of those things in a few years, kind of like how my generation at least was raised being like, racism doesn't exist. That's not a thing. It used to exist, but it's not a thing anymore. I feel like ableism is going to take a similar route. Like, I think people are already realizing it, but it's kind of everywhere, you know, it's in the fabric of our society. I'm not sure what kind you are facing, and from who, like from a workplace or from people, like I'm not sure the specifics of it, and you don't have to share the specifics of it, but just know that the way that others treat you, even though for me it feels impossible to believe sometimes, it really does have nothing to do with you. That is a thing that I would think I'll always have to be learning. Like, it's actually not about me, is like, that is a lifelong lesson I will be learning, is that like, Ruthie, this is not all about you. Like, I just have to keep hammering that home. And like a lot of people who do ableist things or are just inherently mean to people, it's not because of you. And even when it's directed at you, it's not because of you. It's not about you. It's about them and something that they went through. And maybe the sound of your voice triggered a memory of them, of something they hated that happened to them when they were 10. Like, you just never know all the factors that go into why people act the way they do, which can help with a little bit of compassion, but at the same time, it's like, just fuck those people. And like, you don't have to have anyone in your life who makes you feel shitty. You just don't. There's probably some exceptions. I don't know. I always try to find the opposite. I always try to argue the opposite idea of the thing I just said, but I'll stop right now. Hello, Ingrid. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Violet says hello from New Jersey. I love my Jersey girls. My mom is a Jersey girl. Thank you for your intuitive meditation. Thank you for joining. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Ruthie. I haven't been here since COVID. Great to see you again. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining. It's crazy that it's like, I was thinking about that the other day. It's like literally 4 years ago was COVID. It's just like, that's wild. It's been such a time warp. It feels like it's been like 10 years, but it also feels like it's been like 6 months. It's so strange. Anyway, thanks for joining. Greg, like the format works for me. Cool. Good to know. Yeah, I might, I think I'll probably start sprinkling that in, because I do get stuck in like, I like a routine, but sometimes I lose inspiration if I'm doing the same thing over and over again. So it'd be nice to maybe have like the Monday ones be poetry focused and the or vice versa, or something like that. I'll figure it out. But good to know you like that. Good day to you too, April. Thanks for joining. Hannah says, oh my God, yes, that resonates a lot right now. Awesome. Christine says, I know what you said intellectually, but in an emotional level, I have to keep reminding myself. That sentence explains my entire existence, and my entire therapy sessions exist with me saying this exact thing. I know it intellectually, but emotionally and in my body, the message is not there. Like, those are such different things. Like, you can know all the things in the world, but your body and emotionally, like, they don't always coincide, you know? She said, so thank you. Each reminder is helping to add to that new layer of snow. I love it. Yes, I'm working on that analogy, if you can tell. And I think it's getting better every time. So yeah, it's just patience, consistency and patience. That's really all it is. It's like just continually getting the message across to your body that it is safe. Like, that's why somatic breathing and exercises and practices, like anything that involves moving the body and moving trauma through and out of the body, like just simple as jumping up and shaking around, like crying, all of the like forced laughter, just like anything that like moves your body and gets things out of you will lighten the load, and it will help that emotional level of things settling, I would say. Acceptance is the word of the month, constantly having to go back to it. Yep. Acceptance is the word of my life, it seems. It's like, it's a tough thing, but like my therapist, she's just rings in my head every time. Acceptance doesn't mean you like it, because I have such a problem. Like, I don't want to accept any of this bullshit. All of this sucks. Why do I have to accept anything? Like, no. And she's like, well, it's happening. Whether you accept it or not, it's happening. So you don't have to like it to accept it. You just have to acknowledge it's happening. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I can do that. And then you go from there. Abby says, thank you for sharing your poetry and your vulnerability. Thank you. I recently started doing spoken word poetry and it's powerful. Speak it. The world needs it. Awesome. I love to hear that, Abby. I would love to hear your spoken poetry. I did for a while. There was this app called Clubhouse that I was once pretty active on, that I slowly not even slowly, I pretty much dropped off of it really fast, because I forget exactly. It just started to like, I don't know, mess with my head a bit. Because if I'm interacting with people too much, I just start to hyper like analyze myself, and like it confuses me. And like the more time I spend like interacting with people, like kind of reading and like watching, pausing, rewinding, listening, reading, and then like my real-time conversations being in person, where I can see their, movements and their like micro expressions and movements, and like that adds so much to the conversation. Like I prefer to keep those there. Or like phone calls with like really close friends where like I know what they mean. But on Clubhouse, yeah, Dina and April said the same thing. It's like, I loved it at first. I was like, this is how social media should be. Like we can hear each other. It's awesome. And then it got to a point where I was like, no, I can't. Like the pressure of like speaking live to a bunch of people, I have no idea who's listening. Like, even though I guess that's the same thing here, but this feels safer than Clubhouse felt for me. But it's a great idea for an app. I really do appreciate the idea. And for some people, I think it works. But the reason I brought that up is because that's where there's a lot of poetry or spoken word poetry rooms in Clubhouse. And that's when I started sharing verbally my poetry. And it got some reception, so it gave me more confidence to share it online. But yeah, there is a new app that I'm cautiously excited about, just because I have the same feeling as I did with Clubhouse, where I'm just like, I'm so excited about this new social media, mostly because it's my friend and her fiance who created it. It's called Perfectly Imperfect, but if you go to pi.fyi, if you just go to that website or search that in the App Store, or in my link tree, that's in my Insight Timer profile, there's a link to my profile on that app there. And it's like old internet. It makes me so happy. It's like a mixture of MySpace and like Reddit, or MySpace and like Quora or something. Like it's only recommendations and asks. So you can like if there's some like a book that you love, you can like your profile has two sections. The things you recommend, you can put links, pictures, why you recommend it. And then the other section is ask, like questions you have. Like, does anyone have a good recommendation for this? And da-da-da. It's just like, I love it. And there's only like 1,500 people on the app right now, I think, which is the golden age for any social media. It's like when it's still small, it's like awesome. So if any of that interests you, join it. It's a good one. So yeah, you can find me on anything by searching my name. I'm mostly active on Instagram. Starting to be more active on this Pi-Fi thingy, my bobby. It's interesting to me. YouTube, Insight Timer, those are my things. So find me on anything just by searching my name. I think that's all I got for you. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend. I will be back here. If you follow me on Insight Timer, you will see the live schedule for the next time I'm live. But I believe I will be live on Tuesday the 19th. Yes. So I hope you have a great Friday, a great weekend, and I hope to see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.